Lane here, reporting live from the streets of Metropolis.
People of Earth, I have come for your world. Your defeat is inevitable. Who here dares resist?
The rookie.
Rookie.
Is the doctor don't say much?
We are the Justice Syndicate.
Your Justice League have had to go on a mission. They asked us to watch over you.
What? That's not what happened.
I found out who we're dealing with.
With the Justice League out of the picture, who's gonna stop them?
Us! We can stop them!
Indeed. And then we can take over.
Now we'll show them.
Insignificant specks.
Hi, this is Marc from ToonBarn. We're here at New York Comic Con 2018. We're talking about Lego DC supervillains, and I have two of the best people you're ever going to meet. All right, I have Phil Ring, the executive producer of TT Games. Welcome, Phil.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I have D. Bradley Baker, who did Clock King and Desaad.
Jawohl, hello.
So that's based on the William Tachman version of Clock King, right?
I don't know. It's a German accent, and I went from the script and what they told me, so that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Does this Clock King have that power where he can see 4 seconds into the future?
I'm going to have to defer to Phil on that.
So he has some very cool and quirky powers. I can't give away too much about him. I will tell you one thing though. He actually has basically a pet clock. You can put out this little clock that then comes alive and it starts running around, and you can use it to help you with puzzles and things like that. So if you're a fan of Clock King, I think you'll be able to play around with him, and you'll be like, oh, I didn't know he could do that.
He's got a little pet now. Clock King has a pet.
So, does Desaad have any special powers that are different than what he normally would have had in the comics?
So we always want to make sure that our characters are kind of the true version of the characters that people would expect. But then we always want to make sure that there's loads of things in there that like a level of depth to it. So even if you're just kind of sneaking around, the character will behave in a particular way. Or if you kind of like, even if you just have them stood still, the animation team do kind of some amazing idle animations to really bring them to life. So when we're kind of looking at it, we always want to make sure they're true so that you can see it. So we're not going to give a character who has flight who shouldn't have flight or anything like that. So they're always true to them. But there will always be something they can do from a kind of a Lego game perspective that is just a different take on their abilities.
Okay. And you guys have a 2-player cooperative mode, right? So have a lot of people asked for like a multiplayer mode?
It has been something that's come up a lot of the time. What we do is when we create these games, we want it so that there's always a 2-player cooperative experience. So at any point, a second player can come along, sit next to you on the sofa, jump in and be able to play. And we take advantage of the platform hardware as well. So if you've got Nintendo Switch, for example, you can do it with single Joy-Con. So just half a Joy-Con each, straight away playing in co-op.
I was going to ask you, how is it for Twitch compared to the consoles?
Yeah, so we really wanted to kind of have that so that if someone at kind of Christmas Day, they get their Nintendo Switch and they've got a copy of Lego DC Supervillains, they can play co-op straight away.
That's a nice Christmas. That's because Christmas always, it just gets very boring after you've opened everything and you have it. But with this, you can jump right in and play cooperatively after hours of customization of your evil villain, and then wow, that's a great Christmas. That'll take you through New Year at least.
So I have to ask you, Dee, have you ever met any of the creators of any of the characters that you've played, from originally when they were created in the comics?
I don't think I have. I don't think I've met the original creators. No.
What would you say to them if you got to meet them?
I would say thank you for giving voice to the heroic. Something that the world needs, something that every kid, that every grown-up really wants. A world where there is good and there is bad, and that good triumphs over evil. And it's clarified into these really fun stories. Thank you for doing that. That is what I would say.
And sometimes you get to play as the villain.
Yeah, very much so. Sometimes you just want a little bit of mischief in the world as well. Just a little.
Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us here at New York Comic Con. We're looking forward to Lego DC Supervillains on October 16th.
Yep, not long.
So fun. Yeah. Well, it's always a blast, especially for these, because with the DC universe, there's often great darkness, an incredible darkness to the villains as well as to the heroes. And with this, we get to flip it around and make it okay for the little kids to even play, and it's still fine to play with the Joker in the room. Whereas normally that probably wouldn't be a good idea. So it's really gratifying to be able to do that. A lot of fun.
Awesome. Is it a different casting process or directing process for a Lego video game as opposed to a different type of video game? Do people get a little more animated in what they ask of you when you're performing?
I think they give us more leeway to have fun. Video games are often more contained, and a lot of them are more serious too. There's not enough a sense of humor in video games. There's one that comes to mind that I really enjoyed a long time ago back in the Shire. It was called Redneck Rampage, and it's a first-person shooter. And it was hilarious, and it's like I really enjoyed that game. I wanted more games like that, but they're often just this pretty serious business. But
this game is not like Redneck.
No, not in the Lego universe whatsoever. It's all fun, and it applies really great to young as well as to old. That's also part of what's fun too. It's not just for kids. The grown-ups get to play, and it makes you laugh as well. Yeah, I talk to myself in the grocery store. I mean, that's kind of what we do as voice actors all the time. And for me, for inspiration, I like to read things out loud to myself. Right now I'm reading Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes in time for Halloween. It's a lot of fun. If you're interested in voice acting, read out loud to yourself. It's a lot of fun.
Do you just read out loud to yourself, or do you have the family there to listen to, or do they walk away?
No, the family does not want to hear me.
Do we have the John Williams music?
I don't think we did that this time.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, we decided to kind of change it up a little bit. So we have some other tracks in there. Harley Quinn, she's one of my favourite characters playing the game. She can pull out like a boombox and it starts playing Hit Me With Your Best Shot. We wanted to do some things that people wouldn't expect.
It's a super villain game, right? It's themes, yeah.
So she's skating around on roller skates playing music from a boombox, and everyone around her starts dancing. Like I said, we wanted to have a lot of humour in this game. We kind of set out to try and make this the funniest Lego game we've ever done. And the entire team kind of took that on board, so it's about adding kind of quirky stuff like that into the world.
Awesome. The character customization is incredibly in-depth, but I want to hear some of your favorite superpowers.
So one of my favorite things to get to do is you get the ability to kind of grow your minifigures so that they're kind of super tool. So you can kind of be stomping around Gotham and Metropolis in the open world and kind of picking up cars and throwing them around. But with the customizer, you can make some really wacky characters, and it's the point when you realise you can make a giant guy in a hot dog suit who's running around causing mayhem and mischief in Gotham. I was like, yeah, I'm sold, I'm just going to do this for hours. So that's what I do. I spend all my time stomping around for hot dogs. And
yeah, what's your character's name? Super Hot Dog? What do you call it?
Super Hot Dog? Super giant hot dog?
Yeah, you could outfit that hot dog man with Condiment King's ketchup and mustard turns. Like, genius.
Hey folks, you'd have to be living under a rock not to notice the new planet in the sky.
What's that now?